Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, and with me like always is Noah Bailey. So today we are finally going to be reviewing The Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad 2018, a very different movie called The Suicide Squad. They probably should have had some kind of subtitle, but they didn't. Whatever, it's fine.
And yet we're gonna know, but they always remember the difference though, because the movies are so different that you'll know
Yes.
immediately which one you're watching.
Uh,
Immediately.
So before we get into the movie real quick, I just have like a little rant at the beginning, just
Okay.
about I don't know why movie theaters tend to not have the most updated trailer for a movie play before the movie you're watching. Because we said last podcast, we talked about the Venom 2 trailer that came out like very recently before the Suicide Squad came in theaters. And that trailer for Venom 2 was actually pretty good.
Yes.
The first trailer was like fine. It's kind of boring. The second trailer was pretty good. If that trailer came out before the Suicide Squad, why did my theater play the first trailer for Venom 2?
Mine did too. Yeah. Mine did too. Which is weird. I mean, maybe it takes time to update. I don't know. Because that has been happening for a while. I remember that happening for multiple movies.
Mm-hmm. I remember even like watching Black Panther and watching, even though the second, the infamous second trailer for Infinity War had already come out, Black Panther was showing the first trailer for Infinity War. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if maybe they send it in all together, so it kind of just they already have to set it up beforehand. So if the trailer comes out not way before the movie comes out, it's just kind of too late. But I don't know.
Yes, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Not that it matters because trailers before a movie aren't as important anymore because you just see them on the internet, like
on ads and everywhere. Yeah.
Twitter, YouTube, etc. So they're not as important anymore. But I still would have rather have seen the second trailer as opposed to that first one. But
yeah. No, I mean that's true, especially if you've seen the first trailer for multiple movies. Because I noticed that same trailer was Black Widow, and then on this time, and then if I go to the movies again, it's probably gonna be there again until the movie comes
before
out.
Shang-Chi. If the first trailer for Venom plays again, I'm gonna be a little upset. Especially now that Venom 2 has been delayed to October 15th. If they show the first trailer still saying September 24th, that's wrong.
If the no, they would. Do you think they would do that, or they would still have the date wrong?
They've done it before.
Oh, there's got to be a way to fix that. That's just misinformation at that point.
Whenever it shows trailer for Maverick, the Top Gun spinoff sequel, whatever, it still says holiday 2020, I think, or whatever. It still says the wrong date on that trailer.
Oh gosh, I didn't notice. If it did, I totally didn't notice, but that would be hilarious.
I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I remember at least either that or the James Bond movie. One of those that isn't out yet.
I totally forgot to make another James Bond movie.
Yep, another Daniel Craig one.
Yeah, I like Daniel Craig, but I feel like they need to take a break, man. I feel like it's time. Because they're starting to get Fast and the Furious-y with them. Not that it comes up every year, but there's been so many that it's all right, man, come on.
And every single one since his second one was going to be his last one, and he's made 6 of them. So
yeah, it's kind of don't get me wrong, guy's a great James Bond, but it's give it up, give it 5+ years, and then bring it back when it's fresh again. Because now it's not fresh; it's just another action movie. Which James Bond shouldn't feel like another action movie. It's James
exactly.
Bond,
especially when Mission Impossible and Kingsman are doing what you're doing, but better anyway.
Yeah, and kind of better right now, at least. I mean, at least the last one I saw, but I don't know. But
yeah. Oh well. On to the movie.
True.
There is no mistaking that The Suicide Squad is a very different movie than Suicide Squad 2016 because the Suicide Squad is fantastic.
Like the atmosphere, the immediate understanding of this movie is gonna be ridiculously dumb, and it's gonna be great because we don't care. We know
Yep.
it's fine.
Literally, not 3 minutes into the movie, and Amanda Waller is always like, "Okay, okay, Savant, you know the drill. You know, you have a bomb in your head. Yeah, do this mission. Get time off your sentence. Rick Flag will be your commanding officer. Here's your team. Go. Mission starts. We're in it." Like, I understand that. Like, I understand that the point of the 2016 Suicide Squad, which we will be comparing them quite a bit, the 2016 Suicide Squad, the point of that movie was to kind of set up why the team needed to exist and set up the team and, set up Amanda Waller's whole thing. So I understand not like jumping straight into the team being established and going on their mission, but we had to wait 45 minutes into the first movie for them to get to Midway City. That is too long to have to deal with these characters in this already really long movie.
And like introducing and then reintroducing characters that we really didn't care that much about, and also that like died very like when you like introduce a character for like 20 minutes and then they get wasted immediately, it's a no. Like in this movie, it's not that big a deal because they get introduced like they're dying, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah, literally. Because some of them didn't even get a name drop, and it's just had their names like on the red button on Amanda Waller's case. But like the team they got was like it's kind of funny just like going back through the original trailers and being like, oh yeah, totally, these people are gonna die super early. I wasn't necessarily expecting all of them to die right away, but it's so obvious these people aren't in the scenes in the trailer that are clearly taking place later.
Okay, so there's a little story. Okay, so my best friend loves Pete Davidson. Favorite person in the world is Pete Davidson. And we all knew it was like he's gonna get wasted.
He's gonna die first. Everyone knew he was
we all knew like, oh, he's gonna get killed. But how he died was absolutely hilarious. Like I was on the ground immediately. Like he's just like, oh yeah, guys, look, here we go. We got like totally and just gets his face just blown off. And I was just like, oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
It was so great. It's just like you just knew it was like it's gonna be a Tarantino movie with the craziness of James Gunn, and I'm here for it.
And like James Gunn clearly loves every single character he put into this movie, even the ones like Javelin or Mongal that were only in it for like 2 seconds. Clearly he adores every single aspect of the comics this world is based on, because like the fact that Captain Boomerang, he didn't get to do a lot because he actually died in that beach, which I did not expect. I did not expect him to die that early.
Was total out of nowhere.
But his outfit looked super cool, like again, straight out of the comics. The fact that his boomerang glowed in the dark, which just this is a nice little effect just to make you see. So you can see what's happening on that dark beach, but also it just looked cool.
Yeah.
He actually got to throw a boomerang, which he didn't do at all in the first one.
No sense. That's his thing. Like Superman not flying in the whole movie about Superman.
Yeah. And walking out of the theater, one thing that kind of puzzled me and my brother was we were kind of like curious about like, we know that Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn, and Rick Flag were a part of the original Suicide Squad. Like they were the three who carried over. So Amanda Waller knows that they are very reliable members of the team, especially Rick Flag, who's the field commander. So why would she send those three on a mission that she knew was intended to fail as a distraction? And I took us a couple of days of theorizing, but we kind of came to the conclusion that because Rick Flag, Harley Quinn, and Captain Boomerang have gotten a little too buddy with each other. They kind of like, especially Rick Flag, actually being friends with Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling Amanda Waller kind of saw that as a liability, especially since we found out later that if Rick Flag, like, she probably didn't want Rick Flag going to Jotunheim because she knew that he would freak out and cause the trouble that he does later in the movie.
Right.
So go ahead and killing him, Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang, would be advantageous to her. They're just becoming too much of a loose cannon.
Right. A very Amanda Waller move to just be like, these people are liabilities. Let's clear the board without actually clearing the board.
Yeah. And like that team, I feel, was very well made for that kind of mission, because no one's going to care about whether Black Hawk, whatever Pete Davidson's character, that's his name, Javelin, who he like there were like at least 3 different characters on that team who like either can throw or shoot things well. Savant, I guess his power is he can throw things well.
I guess.
Javelin, he throws a javelin. Boomerang, he throws a boomerang.
Yeah.
I guess Pete Davidson maybe also did that. I don't actually know.
I don't know what he did, but it was just funny. He was he's like, y'all chained me to a rat wall. He's like freaking out. He was like, it's so stupid. I just like how Pete Davidson just being Pete Davidson until he got shot.
Not a werewolf. He's actually a weasel, but
he's like, he's harmless. He's eaten 27 children, but relatively speaking, I was like, Jesus, like 27. That's a lot of children. And there's an entire classroom of children. That is terrifying.
And like I said, these characters didn't get like any introduction. We barely even know their names going into the fight, but just that like couple of minutes of that helicopter ride to the beach, just like them talking to each other. You got all of their personality. You got like a team dynamic in that 30 seconds of them flying there, which wasn't even necessary because all of them died. But James Gunn was like, this movie is going to have soul. You are going to care about the people, even if for a fact all of them are going to get wasted. You want these people to get out alive, even if
immediately got wasted.
Yeah. like Javelin talking to TDK is like, what does TDK mean? Like it's just my name. I don't know. It's like, your name is just letters, and the Captain Boomerang is like, all names are letters. Like, it's so good. And Savant just being like, who are these? Like, why am I here? Like, who are these? And then like and then Savant, I love so much how the movie starts, with the Johnny Cash song, because it's a James Gunn movie, like zeroing in on Savant, like telling the audience he's going to be the main character. This is going to be the guy you'll be following for the majority of the movie. He might die at the very end, but like, this is the guy you'll be following the perspective of for most of the movie. They designated him as field leader, along with Rick Flag. But then once, things started going badly, the guy that you assume be the protagonist of the movie froze up and tried to run, and Amanda Waller, that blew his head off. Yeah, that was done so well.
And I love the idea of just like, oh yeah, that was a distraction, and like the real actual team shows up.
This is just Suicide Squad.
That was so funny. They're just like, oh, what's that over there? Oh, nothing, just your distraction. Don't worry about it. And you just, I was like, should we be worried about? No, it's fine.
And like, probably, do you think Pete Davidson's character actually ratted them out, or do you think Amanda Waller like cut a deal with him to tell, like, for him to cause that distraction that kind of that drew in the court, the Maltesians? Do you think that happened, or do you think he actually sold them out?
Well, my thing is, if he actually, like, if Waller did know about it, she would have just blown his head off. I feel like. So I feel like she had to. I don't think she necessarily set it up, but I think she happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the point of that mission was to draw as much attention to them as possible. So maybe she
Right.
did know, or or hooked it up so that he could rat them out.
Right, or
Yeah,
something like that. I
again,
don't
it
think it was
is.
necessarily her idea, but it was kind of like oh, this could help with the distraction.
Mhm. Yeah, Amanda Waller was so cool in this movie. Like as a character, like Amanda Waller is one of my all-time favorite DC characters,
Mm-hmm.
and 2016 Suicide Squad did her no favors. But she just had this presence to her that just, oh, like perfect casting.
The best casting in any DC thing
Mm,
ever, personal,
just
or at least this DC universe.
just that
But
little bit in the middle of the movie where she's just like, the mission is happening, and she's just casually like practicing her golf swing. Like that's just like,
doesn't even care.
yeah.
Like,
Like
no.
these people
For
already spend
me, the
most.
best was the thing with Bloodsport's kid. Like, that was such an Amanda Waller. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's so messed up. But, like, I love it because, like, that's what Amanda Waller would do and, like, would sleep like a baby, wouldn't even care.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's actually she's 16, but she can be tried as an adult and go to Rikers. I'm like, wait, whoa. You're going to put her in Riker? Or was it
Bell
Black Theater?
Rev.
I don't
Bell
remember.
Rev.
Bell Rev, that's what it was. It was one of those. Like, can you put her in Bell Rev for
Mhm.
her shoplifting? I'm like, are you out of your mind? What are you kidding? But at the same time, it's like, well, that is Amanda Waller. She would do something like that. So
Mhm.
that totally makes sense. Like, oh my god, that's so great. And I'm just like, yeah, and like, he like pulls a knife and she's like, no, he's not gonna do nothing. Nah. Like he's just like, yeah, and like he did, and I'm just like, it's so great.
Mhm. And I I really do like how Bloodsport essentially is just like, what if Will Smith what is Will Smith's Deadshot were in this movie, but were cast by someone else? Like
Mm.
this backstory basically the same, power set basically the same. Like
I mean,
but
even the daughter thing's the same, so it's pretty
exactly.
much bar for bar. But it's by
But
someone
like,
that doesn't distract you as much as Will Smith would being Will Smith.
yeah,
Not that
yeah,
Idris Elba's
like,
not famous, but
yeah, they both even had like a cool helmet they wore
yeah.
sometimes. But because Idris Elba actually was given direction and actually given stuff to do that you cared about, I actually found it believable, the stuff he was doing. Um, and then they even like kind of made fun of the the aspect of like, not only is Bloodsport pretty much an insert for Deadshot, there was also already 3 other people in the movie who can shoot stuff good.
Yeah.
Like we like we picked this team based on their unique abilities. Here's Peacemaker. His father trained him from the time he was born to be a killer. Anything in his hand should be established to be, thought of as a dangerous weapon. And he's like, are you kidding me? That's what I do. Like those word for word, the same thing. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's so great because it's true. It's funny, yeah. But I get it. But it's like, what do we need 2 of these guys? It's like,
Mhm. Oh,
and I like how this movie, despite knowing exactly what kind of movie this was going to be, it still subverted your expectations a lot of the time, which was really interesting.
it's also just like a very visually stunning movie, which, like, I know it shouldn't be a surprise because it's James Gunn, but like for how just grody and disgusting looking the first Suicide Squad was.
And like gray.
Yeah, gray, brown, just a bunch of bad colors. Like, and during the climax, I literally couldn't see what was happening the entire time.
Yeah.
Whereas the entire beach scene and any other scene that happened at night, it was very obvious what was going on. It was lit in a certain way where you can see, like I said, Captain Boomerangs were glow in the dark, so you could tell, like, because everything had this like flair to it that just made it look very visually compelling the entire way through, to the point where even Starro at the end, which we'll get to much later, he was a big CG monster, but he just, I felt it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, super colorful, so it doesn't just look like gray mass thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Where do you want to go from here?
Okay, let's just go. Okay, so character introductions, kind of just go for. So we just go for. We can just go with like the Villain Court of Maltese with the island and
Mm,
everything, and then oh, the Freedom Fighter, how they
right.
met the Freedom Fighter.
I I had a feeling going in, like when no one was like freaking out or no one was like really drawing their weapons on them. I'm like, I have a feeling these are people they don't actually need to kill.
So messed up. Like especially like how like rough it got. Like you people
Mhm.
getting ripped apart. One guy gets just totally eaten and just like, oh, jeez,
Yeah,
that was
like
so unnecessary.
Bloodsport and Peacemaker were trying to one up each other and how
Yeah,
gruesomely to kill people. Like these
yeah,
people didn't
like
deserve any.
you. I'm like, this is so messed up. And then they just get to the tent, and then like they're just like, oh hey, it's like, wait, why did my freedom fighters not tell me what? And they're just like, yeah, we didn't see anybody. Yeah, no, I didn't see it. He just burps up a finger. Like, oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my god.
like not only is this a very very funny movie, like that is one of just many jokes that work so well. Unlike in the original Suicide Squad, where I hated almost every single character in that movie, every single person on the main team was delightful. Like Polka Dot Man, they made me care about Polka Dot
A
Man.
lot. I
Yeah,
was sad when Pokemon. I said Pokemon. Polka
Pokemon.
Dot Man died. Granted, it was hilarious, but I was very sad because
Mhm.
I was not expecting it at all. I was like, all right, Polka Dot, you.
Mhm. Oh, oh. Just like his introduction, like, oh, what does he throw polka dots at people? He really throws polka dots at people. Like,
It was just quiet. It was like, I mean, I guess that's what he does, but like,
yeah,
I like how they made it cool. Like they're like, it's like not just like I thought it was just weird too. Like I'm like, is this guy really gonna just like poke it at me? But it's like acid or something. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, that could actually be awesome. So like,
Hmm.
that's
Like we find
great.
out very early on, like when he took down that one like watchtower in the freedom fighter camp. Like, yeah, the his polka dots are it's not not pretty get hit by these.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it's like,
yeah,
there's like,
Ratcatcher was,
oh,
oh
that
my
was.
god, like I've never related so much to a villain before. Just tired constantly. I love it.
Like I'm in this movie and I don't like
Uh-huh.
it. Oh, it was so nice having a character like that though, because like you know that person, that's you, like you know that's me, like I know that person. It's
And then
like especially
Bloodsport,
when you're like
yeah.
at work with a bunch of adults and you're just like, let me just
Mm.
go to bed.
And Bloodsport having a fear of rats, and
Yes,
like it not just being a throwaway gag, it actually being like a whole movie
plot point.
character arc,
Yes,
to the point where like that arc resolving was the final shot of your movie. Like it worked
yeah,
too.
which
Like,
makes again no sense, but all right. Like,
and then the people in the HQ were like, "Do you know that he has a fear of rats?" And Manuel was like, oh, it's just one of those days.
yeah, no, I mean before like when the weasel like drowned.
Mm.
I was not. Who didn't check that the weasel could swim? She's just looking at the guy, and the guy's just like,
I I forgot about that. I forgot the fact that like before the first mission, them taking bets on who was gonna die. Like that's so
yeah. Oh,
good.
it was so funny. They're like, oh yeah, I got $20 on that toy. And I'm like, y'all are awful. But to be fair, if I had that job, I get
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Yeah. Like this is the again, like the fact that they were able to just go into this world, like go into this movie and just drop you right into the suicide, like Task Force X has been working for years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own little like gambling ring set up for this. Like this team has been doing this for long enough. Like they know the like powers and abilities of different people, like what gets you further on mission. Like it just that's so
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah, and I think it's really funny because it's like, yeah, they're like, oh no, that's a he's gonna get wasted right out. No, no, I think he's gonna be fun. No, 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 $20. Yeah. Just like, oh, that's so great. Just like it's weird. It's like an element of realism because like that would so happen.
Mhm.
I would totally have them. But
I do kind of question Waller. Um, Actually, maybe not, because well, I may question Waller a little bit, telling the team to go rescue Rick Flag when I feel like she intentionally wanted him to die on the beach, but maybe she didn't want him to get like she didn't want the like the Corto Maltese people like telling him their secrets. I guess
mm,
I don't know.
maybe, yeah, that was a little unclear, but we're kind of just in it, so I was like, okay, objective, like go,
Yeah.
because like you knew they were gonna get to the city and everything, so it's
Mm,
kind of just like, yeah, something, a reason to go to get the thing, you know.
yeah. Oh, and King Shark might be like the best character.
Two for this is the second time King Shark's been the this and the Harley Quinn show is like
Mm,
great job.
yep.
Like yeah,
And like
like nom nom no nom nom no like no we're not no like no.
oh, I just remember like one of my favorite jokes of the whole movie when after Amanda Waller gave her spiel about the mission, Ratcatcher being like, I have a question. What is that thing? That's an overhead projector. It's like, do you still use it? No. Why is it still here? Just ignored it.
Next question. Anyway, next question. Yes, hand.
Like,
Yes,
yes.
that's your hand. It just help us. Just like
So,
we're all
gonna die. I hope so.
no. I I really hope it's like, oh my god. Like, no, Idris Elba being done with everyone was the greatest thing like he could have done. Like he just absolutely just hates his life the whole
Like
movie. And it's
immediately after
awesome.
meeting Harley Quinn, just being like, oh, another one of these.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's just like, how did I get in this mess?
And like Harley Quinn was probably the character that was the closest to having a character in 2016 Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
But like, especially after Birds of Prey and after this movie, she like Margot Robbie is perfect for that role. I like
Very good casting.
yeah, everything she said had like she balanced the psychoticness with like the clown aspect perfectly throughout the entire movie. It just oh like walking out of Suicide Squad 2016, I was like, I liked her. Find like of the characters in the movie, I liked her the best, but I didn't like really
Yeah, it's like she still gets like a
believe her.
C, but that's the
Yeah,
best grade I gave out. So
but
it's like, eh.
but she was perfect in this movie.
I love the part where she's just like, they're like, to balance this guy. Yeah, we fall in love. We'll get married, all that stuff. And it's like, and then we'll do this. And then she just straight up goes to shooting the guy. Like, usually there's like this talk and like, wait a minute, this and that. And she's just like, well, you know, it's a red flag. And I'm sorry, that's kind of a red flag. I'm like, now to her point, like,
Yeah.
yes, but also.
Also, she's a super criminal who, until this point, I don't know if she really cared about killing children.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, didn't you like you
kill a
killed?
Robin.
Didn't
At least
yeah,
one Robin.
I want to say you definitely killed at least one child, if not several.
But maybe
So like,
now that she's like, now that she had Cassandra Cain as her protege, she kind of like got like, I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
that
I
like
mean, you
changed
could
her, I
like that's.
guess.
I mean, yeah, because you could definitely tell it was trying like it was like building on that arc,
Mhm.
but it's still like, oh wow, you went 0 to 1,000,
Yeah.
shot the guy.
Oh, and then later when they're like talking to the thinker, like if you find out that anything you tell us is wrong, you die. If you find out you have a personalized license plates, you die. Like what? If you cover sneeze and don't cover it with your mouth, with don't cover your hand with your mouth, cover your mouth with your hand, you die. It's like, wait, no, that's we're not going to do that. But that's not an
That's
excuse
not
for
an
you to
open
go around.
No,
without
that's
coughing.
so true though, because again, if you tell people that, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, so I can do it. It's like, no, not an open invitation to do that. I'm just saying we won't kill you because of it. That was such an honest response.
I like again Rick Flag in the first movie, sucked. He was a
Yes.
very, very
He was
bad
not a
character in
character.
that movie. Like literally because of the way the reshoots and just the way the movie was shot and stuff, like legitimately, I couldn't tell sometimes if it was Rick Flag or just some other army guy because in some reshoots he had different facial hair, different hairstyle. He wore a hat sometimes and looked like the same guy. He acted different depending on the scene he was in. So like I legitimately couldn't tell if it was one guy or like three different people. But then in this movie, just he just meshed so well with the team to the point where uh one of my favorite scenes from the movie was after him, Bloodsport, and Peacemaker were captured and taken away in that armored vehicle, and like they all just immediately clicked and were like, now, and just instantly killed them. Like, oh my
Yeah,
goodness, and it all looks so cool doing it come out of
it
that
was
van. Like, oh my
satisfying.
goodness.
Yeah, but I think that was really, yeah, with work back, because like again, we've been doing this for years, so he knows the drill. So like he's kind of embraced the craziness that comes with this kind of line of work. So he's kind of
Yeah.
just one of the guys now,
Mm.
which is
Because
kind of
then
terrifying. 'Cause now
because
he's
didn't
kind of
Mandalore
insane.
say that Bloodsport and
Peacemaker.
and Rick Flag, like,
Oh.
didn't they both serve together in the army?
Yeah, something like that. They knew each other, so like they either used to serve together or something. They knew each other,
Yeah, and
which was
Bloodsport knew
interesting.
that Peacemaker was basically just like him, so it's like, yo, we all know how to do this. Bam.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, well, if you're on this team, you're like, if you don't have like some weird mutant power, I assume you are very good at killing people.
Mhm.
So
Then they, again, this movie, like, never before have I watched a movie, watched a comic book movie, and been like, wow, this is literally a comic book movie. Like
yeah.
almost every single shot, every single scene feels lifted directly out of a comic book. Like just them just standing there, behind that big fire, just looking so cool. Just looked like, the front cover of a comic book. And then all the different like transition, like title sequences throughout the
Mm-hmm.
entire movie. Just, man, just made it
15 minutes
feel,
ago.
yeah. Or like Operation Jotunheim. It's like, oh, actually we need to do something first. Operation Harley. It's like, and then comes Harley, like,
That was such a good scene where like she breaks out so casually, kills all the guys, gets out, and like, oh, he's like, wait a minute, Harley, what are you doing here? I came to see you. Oh, well, we have this big plan, rescue. I can go back up there. No, no, it's fine, it's fine.
don't patronize us.
I'll patronize it. It's fine. Like, it was somewhere like you could see the sincerity. She's like, I could go back up there. I'm so sorry. Like, she was so like, oh.
She's just happy to have friends again.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, that's great. Like, that's
my,
so
my absolute favorite joke in the entire movie was towards the end. They're setting the bombs everywhere, and those goons come in, and they killed Milton. Who? Like, Milton's still with us?
yes.
Like, they killed Milton. Like,
Milton's
I
like,
don't think I know a Milton.
he's like, there's no Milton. If we were with a Milton, I would have known. I would have remembered a
Like,
guy named Milton.
like, what do you mean you don't know Milton too? Like, I thought he stayed back on the bus. Like, no, he was right. He was my friend.
He was my friend. He sacrificed and died. Like, it was like, Milton, like they were, and then later in the movie, Milton, you're okay.
It's not my name.
Not me. It was like, oh my dude, that okay, no. It was funny because like I also had no idea who that was. I was like, what? Like I just thought like, oh, I thought that was an extra. I didn't know he had a name.
He was there, like, when in like the silhouette shot while they're walking slowly in the
I
rain. He
know.
was there.
That's what's so fun. Like you weren't because he's like not a Looney Tune, so you just like you don't even know he's there. It's just like,
But
oh
because
my
this movie is
god.
so good, you like, because the audience barely even knew he was around, like you still cared that he died because Polka Dot Man cared so bad.
Right, you're just like, oh, that sucks. But also, who is that again? It's so funny. They're like trying to convince him that like they don't know that guy. It's like, no, it's right here. Like,
Like, I thought he stayed back in the bus. Like, I did too. So he's still here.
oh my gosh. That was a great joke. That was Yeah, they had a lot of really big hitters in this show or movie. God, show.
Milton. Thing I say. Oh, the fight between Peacemaker and Rick Flag was awesome. Just I feel like a broken record, but that was done so well. Because like not only like do they like personality wise did they feel like the same different sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
It is also such an Amanda Waller thing to like send this team in for one mission,
Mm-hmm.
and while they're doing that one mission have someone on the team have a secondary mission that they don't want the other team to know about, and then
because that's what happened. That was the Killer Frost thing in Asylum Arkham with the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I've seen something like. I was like, oh, I've seen this before. That's such a Waller move.
Yep.
It's like he's always got these like extra motivations. I thought that was I really liked that.
Yeah, and just that shot of them fighting in Peacemaker's helmet, like that like rotating shot of them fighting in it. Just again, like this movie is shot so well. James Gunn knows what he's doing.
Yes, he does.
Like I don't love Guardians 1. I really like Guardians 2, but like they're both well shot movies. But it's just clearly he was just able to just do whatever he wanted with this, and just
goodness. It worked great. Yeah. It looked awesome. The fight's going well, and again, we were surprised too because it was like, oh man, like he's gonna, and then like, oh, he beat him. Oh no, he actually got stabbed. Like what I mean? It was like a surprise. It was like, oh snap, like, and it's kind of funny because we kind of you got to the end and you were like, that's John Cena. Like,
literally the entire time I just forgot that was John Cena.
I thought that was really because I was talking to my brother about that and he was like, yeah, I totally forgot that was John Cena. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, and I was like, I kind of knew it, but it was still like, yeah, you kind of lost him in the character.
Yeah, unlike Will Smith playing
right.
Like John Cena melded into it.
Or like Will Smith or like Dwayne, like other like John Cena type, be like Dwayne Johnson and stuff, or like Terry Crews, where it's like you get into the character, but you still know who it is. Like not Terry Crews so much. I don't know why I just name muscular people.
Yeah.
But especially like The Rock, where it's like it kind of like or like Vin Diesel, like it's them. It's kind of hard to like unless you're like it's hard to like think of just the character. It's like it's but like with John Cena, it was weird. I don't know. It was just like. I think maybe the helmet helped, but like, it didn't really feel like it was just like John Cena playing character. You actually felt like this was a real character the whole way through. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, and like I wasn't expecting Rick Flag to win that fight because Peacemaker is a better soldier. Like he is. I felt it would have been a little cheap if Rick Flag had won that because I think Peacemaker is enhanced in some way, or at least
probably.
Yeah, like
at this point, everyone's enhanced.
I just feel like Peacemaker was more well equipped to win that fight, so I would have felt a little cheap if Rick Flag had won. But I wasn't expecting Rick Flag to die in this movie. Like I was not expecting that at all.
As we learned, no one is safe
except
Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
but I mean that goes without. I mean that one goes without saying. You kill her, that's all. I mean she has her own franchise, so I mean, other than her and like that's pretty much it.
Like I fully expected Idris Elba to die, but you didn't.
Oh yeah, like right at the end. But man, that was like they and then you have the whole like, and then like the actual like ethical argument between like the two of them actually is like. You kind of get it. Like there's kind of on both sides. Because again, like on Peacemaker's side, it's kind of like, that kind of makes sense. Like, like by revealing these secrets, theoretically, that would cause like a huger thing than what we already have. So theoretically, that would cause more harm than good.
Yeah.
It's the you know what I mean? Like it's doing the wrong thing for the right reason kind of thing. Versus the obvious, no, this is bad. We need to tell the world about this. Like, it's really like it's not just like a bad versus good. It's like from a certain point of view, we're both in the right. And I thought that was really cool. Because again, that argument kind of came out of nowhere, but it was actually compelling. It wasn't stupid. It was actually a compelling argument.
So. And then like when Bloodsport, like crash down to the bottom. Like it's just the fact that like him and Ratcatcher 2 had this like very particular bond. He didn't ask any questions. It was just, oh, Peacemaker is trying to kill my friend dead.
That's
Like,
like, well, can't have that now,
yeah.
can't we? Especially like, she's a child too, like,
Mhm.
like, or at least like the millennial of the group or whatever, the
Yeah.
young kid. So it's kind of just like, come on, man. Like, but then earlier in the movie, he's like, I will kill any men, women, or children as I have to keep the peace. So it's like,
Mhm.
okay, so this guy was not joking. Like,
Yep.
but
Uh,
oh man, but no, I think that was really good. Of course, the classic "my bullet beats your bullet" thing is always a win. But
mhm. So one little thing that like going into this movie I was fully expecting and was not disappointed but just surprised I didn't actually go through with it. Because this cast was so huge, I fully expected the Expendables to be Starro victims and then have like the main team fight the Expendables that were like Starro mind controlled. That didn't happen, but that
that
would have
would have
been
been
really
cool.
cool.
That would have been cool. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's a little like it's kind of a little like, oh, mind control, whatever. Like it's a little done, but I think it'd be cool in this context, especially since they're still newer characters and it'd be like we were buds and now we're trying to kill each other.
Yeah, like especially since there was no one on like the main team that got that far that did get Starroed.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the whole thing with Starro in the comics is that he controls members of the Justice League to fight other Justice League members to
Right.
So to like, not that there was anyone on the team that I would have wanted to get captured, but like if there was one other, I guess, expendable person on the team at the time that could have gotten captured, that it just could have been, it would have been interesting to watch the team fight someone they knew, like if Peacemaker had survived that long and gotten captured and then didn't have a spinoff to then have to live for. That I think could have been really cool, but not a huge deal. It's not even a flaw. It's just something I think.
Yeah, just a preference.
Yeah.
But no, I think that was still, I think it was still handled well. I thought Starro just kind of being like ridiculous was kind of funny.
being a giant monster.
Giant starfish, just doing giant starfish stuff was kind of great. And just, it was, it was as I was weird, and everyone was just like everyone had the appropriate reaction of just like, are you kidding me? I mean, even the guy's like, we got a kaiju, like, oh my god, like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting like Godzilla versus Kong vibes from this. This giant monster just shows up.
And then Harley Quinn is being like, I know what to use the javelin for.
That's right. I found its purpose. Like, I forgot about that.
Again, Harley Quinn was like her whole like prison break sequence was just so good. Just man, it's just like when the cab drove up and she like had to like awkwardly put the javelin in.
He's like, and I love how the guy's just like, where to? Like he doesn't even like he's like, I'm not gonna ask questions. There's a lady with a very bloody, freshly used javelin. I'm not gonna ask questions. Like, you know what I mean? Or like, I love where she like just gets the like AK-47s, just and people are just coming. She's just like, oh, that's such a Harley Quinn thing.
And
that was great, but no. Starro was used very well. It was a little, I will say, how they got beat Starro was a little like
contrived.
Yeah.
The rats like I guess held their breath long enough to chew through and then got out. But
I guess, but that's, I don't know, that kind of,
also, where did all of those rats come from? This island just full of rats.
Yeah, I mean, granted, like there's probably a bazillion rats everywhere, but at the same time, it kind of felt weird. That was like, really? There's like they can just do that? Like, why didn't start? And also, okay, so I made this argument with my friends at the theater. They thought I was weird, but like couldn't Starro theoretically take over the racks too?
Theoretically, if he could get enough Starro bits on them, but there were a lot of rats.
I know, but it's just like because it's not like Starro can only work on humans. Starro works on everything, like organically, theoretically. But like I don't know, I was just kind of like, eh. Or then again, you're also a giant, so like just like kick. I don't know, but
There were a lot of rats.
I know there were a lot of rats. Kind of underwhelmed.
And one of his legs was already cut off by Polka Dot Man.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
which again, Polka Dot Man,
Man,
seeing his mom and everything was.
Yeah, that was so random. Polka Dot Man, that's your mom. And then look at that. That's right. He just looks up, and it's just like his mom.
I'm a superhero.
God Christ. I've never been so shocked and laughed so hard at the same time because that is the most hilarious death, but also, man, Polka Dot Man, I thought was gonna live through this. I was looking forward to like him. And I was like, dang, he got crushed. It was just like, all right, then, like, oh, that was so funny. Oh, but one thing I didn't like though, when they knocked Amanda Waller out, I thought that was kind of like lame. Like,
how would you have resolved that scene?
Like, I don't know. Like, they could have like unplugged the box or something, or like. I don't know. I just feel like it feels kind of weak as she just got like granted, like nobody, like, you know, she's a human, so getting smacked over the head like knocks you out. But it was like, oh, it's kind of lame. Like I thought they were gonna like, you know, undermine, oh, we lost connection, or oh, you know, something where she knows it's them, but she's like, you can't really do anything about it until later. And by the time they fix it, they already saved the day or something.
And I feel that would have been a little too easy. Like the fact that like Amanda Waller's whole thing is that she is so single-mindedly driven about the mission at hand. They completed the mission. They don't need to get involved anymore. Like, if anything, it could I could even see the thing where it's like they completed the mission. The ones that are left, you know, go home. They're potential. Like they are potential candidates for the next Suicide Squad as well. So I don't want to risk them dying when Amanda Waller seeing like I don't need them dying for a cause that I don't need them to go on.
Not my cause. Yeah, I see that.
So I don't think she would have just accepted, oh, we lost connection or the box got unplugged. I think she would have had some other way to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just the concept. It was just like I see Amanda Waller as this very like powerful figure, and it just kind of feels kind of like, oh.
If they hadn't set up earlier in the movie that there was a golf club just lying around, I think it would have been a little weaker. But because like if she had gotten hit by a bat or some like a lamp or something like that, but because it was specifically the golf club she was using earlier, I think it works.
It gave it a little more power to it. Yeah, it's fair. But
I do adore the big box with all the buttons. That just feels way more impactful than just a screen with a button you press. like a touch screen. Oh, you're dead. But like slamming down the button is so much more.
Yeah, and I feel like that makes more sense. You know, it's kind of more like because like I mean, granted, I'm not like a military person, but like, you know, if they have like missiles and stuff, I feel like it's not just like a, you know, are you sure you'd like to send a bomb this country? You know what I mean? Like there's like the key, and then like the button comes up, and you like. Yeah, or something like that. I feel like would be more like appropriate for something like this. But, but
yeah, overall, I like
had a ball.
Yeah. Oh, go.
Had a ball. No, it was great. It was a great laugh. Very violent, which was greatly appreciated.
Yeah, like rated R movies aren't really my favorite thing. Like I think movies that just like throw around swear words haphazardly, like I think are a little unless it's, I think Deadpool had a decent, like Deadpool 2 specifically had a decent like level. I think this movie kind of did that a little too much.
Mhm.
To the point where like, they kind of lost their impact like about halfway through.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I kind
like,
of forgot about him. And then my brother's like, there was a lot of swearing. And I was
yeah,
like, was there really? And he's like, yes. And I was like, oh, I guess I like tuned it out after a while.
yeah. But the fact that James Gunn, you know, got poached by Warner Brothers and was like, hey, what kind of movie do you want to make? And he said, I want to make a Suicide Squad movie. Can I make it rated R? And they were like, please. And he made a rated R Suicide Squad movie, and it was fantastic.
It was great. It was a joy to watch. You had a great time watching it. The characters were very likable, even the ones that died. Like, it was done well. The plot was simple. It didn't, and again, it was simple and it didn't feel unnecessarily complicated. It was very, let's go. Especially when you're already here to start off, it was very, here's the objective. And then the next objective kind of just shows up, but it's not in a way that feels kind of like lazy. It's like this was already happening and we just happen to be here.
Yeah.
So I thought that was well done. And then also just like, yeah, just I think just letting people do what they're best at doing. I think obviously James Gunn doing James Gunn things, having characters who are funny, do fun, like, you know what I mean? Like when you have Pete Davidson for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, just be Pete Davidson. Like, don't even have a character. Just be who you are in real life in this movie. And then you get shot. Margaret Robbie is a great Harley Quinn. She continues to be that and just does Harley Quinn stuff. Idris Elba is kind of the voice of reason, which kind of makes sense because someone has to be, and it makes other people funnier when you have that character.
But he still did get kind of wrapped up in it every now and then.
Right, as somebody would in that, like you wouldn't just be a stern, no nonsense. You're surrounded by all this nonsense. You're gonna start like indulging.
Like after Peacemaker, exploded that guy over his back, like exploding bullets. Peacemaker was like, dang, that was cool. It's like but yeah, like even though we basically spoil the entire movie, like it's one of the movies that if you just like explain the plot, it doesn't do it justice. You need to actually watch it with your own eyes and experience of like I said before, like this is definitely, I think, the most comic book movie I've seen in a while, if not period. Because like Marvel movies, they are comic book movies, but like because they kind of try to make them a little more realistic, they just at this point just kind of feel like another big budget action movie, which is fine. But this is the style that I think if DC really wants to try to compete with Marvel, I think personally going forward, they should try to kind of tap into this style of comic book movie going forward. That makes sense?
Yeah, like actually going, instead of trying to like go bar for bar with the realistic style, kind of go for the like looks like a comic book kind of movie. Okay, I think that'd be, I think that could go really well. I think, especially if they double down with different genres and kind of go for it. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, like so yeah, this movie is on HBO Max. It's still in theaters. Find some way to watch it. Highly recommend.
Yeah,
assuming
check it out.
You're
for sure.
Okay with like blood and gore and swearing.
Don't watch it with your parents.
Unless your parents are cool like that.
Well, yeah, if your parents aren't my parents, don't watch. If your parents are like my parents, don't watch it with your parents.
Yeah, no.
If your parents are chill, if you can watch Deadpool with your parents, don't watch this movie with anyone that you can't watch Deadpool with.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's got that same vibe. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I do have a couple other smaller topics I want to discuss before we wrap up today. I assume you saw the first episode of the What If series.
I actually didn't yet, which is wild because I need to. I'm always late with Marvel shows. I don't know why, but it's Marvel shows. Like I have it. It's next up, but also I didn't watch it yet. But I will. I've heard good things about it, so we'll see.
Yeah, I recommend it. I really, really love the art style of that show.
The animation looks great.
Yeah, and they definitely utilize the fact that it is animated very well. Like
Mhm.
Kevin Carter was doing stuff that like Chris Evans can't do in real life. Like they realize it is an animated show. We'll do animated. We will let her do stuff that only an animated character can do, and like that
As
is
they
again,
And
it's a
that's
comic book
yeah,
movie.
and that's beautiful too, because again, you can do it when it's anime. You can also do it in a comic book, and it makes it feel like it's coming to life more. Like we
Exactly.
always say, the best way to show animation is more superior in terms of showing a comic book.
Exactly.
But yes,
Yeah. Yeah, the Captain Carter episode is out now. The T'Challa as Star Lord episode is coming out this Wednesday.
mm-hmm.
Also probably gonna be very good.
Yeah, I'm bored. I'll catch up. Don't worry.
um, two more small topics. Idris Elba has been confirmed to play Knuckles in the Sonic the Hedgehog sequel.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
I was fully expecting someone like Dwayne Johnson or something like that to play him, but Idris Elba.
Elba. I mean, hey. I mean, again, I could see it, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Like, sure, but I wasn't my first, wouldn't have been my first, second, or fourth guess. But I'll take it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Idris Elba has shown he has more range than you think. So I
Mm,
think this would definitely be something he can handle.
yeah, like he's definitely become one of those actors that like people go to movies just to see or hear at this point. So yeah.
Definitely.
Still haven't seen Sonic 1. I heard it's like actually kind of good. Not like fantastic, but you know.
Does the character more justice than you would expect a Sonic movie to?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get around to it. I think it's on Hulu for free. So I'll get around to it. Last topic I have is oh boy.
Oh no.
So you know that Powerpuff Girls reboot show for CW is coming out
Oh,
supposedly. Chloe Bennett, who was cast to play Blossom, is no longer playing Blossom.
Is she playing someone else, or is she
left
out?
the project?
I mean, I don't blame her. I don't blame her, because again, you have a show which, again, on paper sounds like a
Horrible.
dumpster fire. Like, legitimately, you have a show that is absolutely 100% cannot even be close to remade in live action.
Mm-hmm. And
you take the premise. The premise is kind of dumb as far as they're aged up and they're older now, which isn't really that great. And you also, not to be mean, but the CW is not really killing it right now. So again, that's 3 strikes, and so far the only positive is it exists. So, which isn't really a positive.
Dove Cameron.
It's negative.
She was a good pick for Bubbles.
I mean,
Chloe Bennett looks like an aged up Blossom, I guess.
I guess, but I mean, I feel like anyone who has the same hair color and that is female, can be an aged up version of the Powerpuff Girls. I mean, I don't think it has to be like, right. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there's, I mean, anyone, I mean, they have very distinct, typical personalities. So I feel like it's not that hard.
Yeah, as long as you get a brunette or someone who can convincingly wear a brunette wig and has a pink bow tie or like, you know, pink bow or pink aesthetic. Yeah. You can get a Blossom.
Yeah, like, I mean, again, how hard is it to play the really cheery one, the like motivated leader one, and then the like tough, you know what I mean? Yeah. Every set of characters has those personalities. They're, you know, whether it's Ninja Turtles or the Bad Batch or whatever, those sets of personalities are like standard for like a, what is the word? What is the word for the, well, like, is it misfits? Not really misfits, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a group of
like an ensemble cast.
Yes, yeah. Like that is the most like stereo. Like, so I feel like it's not that hard. But again, like, this was not a good idea from the start. They
already filmed the pilot and they had to scrap it all because it was deemed too bad for the CW.
That is a crimson red flag right there. Like, if your pilot can't even get off the ground, like, at all, just try again. Like, that's not a
the fact that like. Maybe I just don't understand how things are made anymore, but like I was always under the assumption that a show has to present a pilot to a studio, or at least present a winning concept to a studio, and then if the pilot sucks, you scrap the concept.
I feel like it kind of depends. I feel like it's done different. I think it depends on how the show is. 'Cause I think they do that for cartoons. I don't think they do that for shows. Because the thing is, like, but then again, no, that might be true. Because I have seen pilots for shows that never existed. That like they have a full-fledged pilot. You know, they have jokes that look like they were going to become running gag jokes if this show was made, and it just didn't work out. So it kind of just depends. But it's weird because, like, yeah, you would think, like, okay, here's an idea, pilot, no pilot, okay, show's done. We're just not going to talk. But like they're trying to rework it, which really worries me because like it's not so much the pilot as is the entire process seems extremely flawed. I don't think there's anyone who's like, yes, this is a good idea. Like it feels very odd to me because like maybe the people behind it, but like no one on the internet, no one I've talked to, people either don't know it exists or hate it.
Yep.
It's not, it's one or the other. There's no one who's like, it could be good. Everyone's like, that's a terrible idea. Anyone who's actually seen the Powerpuff Girls, they're like, oh yeah, live action. They're like, how? Like you physically can't. Like the show, most of the show is like, I mean, the proportions of the characters don't make sense. What the characters do is not live actionable without $1 billion budget. Like every other character is either a weirdly proportioned human or some ridiculous looking. I don't know how they're going to do any of the villains.
Nope.
Because none of the villains look anything realistic. So it's either going to be really poorly done or they're just going to ignore their designs, which is going to be even more annoying.
Definitely that one, actually.
But that's so terrible. I mean, are Mojo Jojo even going to be a monkey? Like, what are they going to do?
I don't know.
Is it just going to be a guy with a hat? Because, like, if they do that, I'm going to, like, riot. There's another character that's, like, I'm afraid to talk about because, you know, and this, he might get canceled. So I don't know how that's going to go. And then...
Especially since the CW, like, does, like, I don't trust them to do him. I don't trust it
at all. At all. Nor would I even mess with, which is weird, which is sad because that is one of the better villains, but it's also like, there's a lot of ways that can go. Because first of all, getting that design right is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Because it's a literal, like, red kind of crab, kind of devil thing.
Yeah.
But and also, like, it's kind of...
And also, like, clearly in the original show, he was, like, coded as something. I don't even know exactly what they were going for, but it was... I don't trust an adaptation of him. I feel they would try to go all in on it being like a full-on trans allegory or something like that, or without actually doing it right, but still like the creators are dead set on like this is what this is, but then not actually representing it in the show, try to get brownie points but not actually doing it. So then it's bad for that reason.
I feel like that I don't know that. I feel like that I see that going horribly. But I don't know. That's kind of I don't know how that would even go. But again, like, not even the biggest red flag in the room, but like another potential, like, this could be a problem. All the villains are pretty much like, I mean, they have like I forget what they're called, but the guys that look like boogers, the green ones.
The Green Gang?
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew it was something. How did I forget that? But yeah, they like, that's like going to be hard to animate. I mean, pretty like not animate, but imitate. But like I don't know how they're gonna do any of this with it looking even remotely good. Because all I'm imagining is they're gonna do like Titans and just kind of ignore that a character's a different color. And like, just be like,
considering how bad the Anti-Monitor looked in what was probably the highest budget episode of the CW Arrowverse, Crisis on Infinite Earths, for how bad that looked. I don't want to see them fighting giant monsters.
Oh man, that, like, the CGI was just like, there was a lot of just like, it's so bad because like whatever like they're doing, like whatever imagine the Powerpuff Girls doing flying, I think of Supergirl, and like every scene of like Supergirl flying that looks just so fake. You're just like, oh, come on. Like, that doesn't even look like it's trying to be real. Like, that looks almost like, and I'm not trying to hear the bash. I'm just saying, like, this isn't a show that needs to be in live action.
No.
This show is not meant to ever be in live action. There was no and the thing is, there's so many other shows you could do that would make way more sense than this.
Yep.
Again, I'm on record saying this could have easily just been Totally Spies, had done the same thing, been for the same audience,
same cast even.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, maybe like, yeah, actually, maybe I don't know.
I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah, I know there's 3 of them. There's a blonde one. There's 2 of them have the same hair color. I think one of them has 3. I don't know what nationality Alex is. I don't really know, but she's not white. So I mean, I don't think the other one. I don't remember.
The one they got to cast to be
blonde
not Bubbles, not Blossom.
Buttercup.
Buttercup, yeah. The one
I had 3 guesses and I was wrong.
The one they got to be Buttercup is I think is not white. I don't remember the nationality either, but the one they got to play Buttercup is not white. So I think they already don't really care about.
Okay, see, as long, yeah. So like again, I think as long like that cast could have way easier been Totally Spies, which again is a cartoon, but way more realistically could be done in live action. But again, I never really saw Totally Spies like that on like Powerpuff Girls, but again, I think it was popular enough. I think people like enough. And again, I think the concept is way easier to do. And also, I don't know. It serves the same. I think it would serve the same audience you're trying to reach now.
Yeah.
So I don't really.
Also, it's the type of thing where it's like people already love the Powerpuff Girls. So there's no point to make it a live action, to reboot it in live action. The Totally Spies is a franchise that has potential to, if it gets rebooted, get a bigger audience. Like get in the public light again, because it would be. I think it would, like, conceptually, the like margin for error would be a lot smaller for a Totally Spies show, because like if they get it wrong, who cares? It's Totally Spies. If they get it right, a new audience for this, or this concept. But Powerpuff Girls, there's no point.
And it's like we say with a lot of remakes, it's like the potential for, like, best case scenario for a lot of these things is like, best case scenario, it's like not as good as the original. Worst case scenario, you disgrace the entire fan base. Like, exactly. You know what I mean? And like here, and I'm not saying that like Powerpuff Girls fan base is like god tier, but like still, like the way to, like, the chance of like doing this well is not great. Like, and again, I think, oh man, I lost my train of thought. I don't remember what I was gonna say, but yeah, don't do it. But,
yeah, more of the story.
I don't know.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. They shouldn't, but they will, because that's how things go. I don't know if it's for money. I don't know if the person just really wants if the person just really wanted to. No, I remember what I was gonna say. There already was an animated remake of the Powerpuff Girls, and everyone hated it.
It was very bad.
So how much worse is a live action CW doomed version gonna be hated? I mean, come on. If they can't get it right animated, granted, it might not be the same people, but like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, this is like this was marked doom from the start, and they're doubling down. It's like, no, let it go. Let it go. It's not worth. This is gonna be like, and that's why I worry about, like, I understand why Blossom is leaving, because again, this is a career doomer, man. Like, this is, if this tanks this hard, people are gonna think you're the problem when you're not. Like, get off, abandon ship.
Get out of there.
Get out of there while you still can. Abandon ship at all costs. Like, but yeah, they should not make. I don't understand. Who said yes? That's a great idea. I feel like whoever said this is a good idea has not actually seen the show.
Probably.
Because if you've seen this show, no one thinks, yeah, you could do this with real people. Like, oh, man.
I don't know.
We need to start running these companies, man. I swear. Like, I don't. Like, if someone came to me if I was an executive and someone came to me with this idea, I would laugh. Like, that sounds terrible. Like, what's next? I mean, like,
I don't know. Maybe they just had no ideas at the time, and like a couple of shows in CW that are wrapping up. They're like, we need something new to fill this slot. We'll take what we can get. We got Powerpuff Girls. Okay, we'll use it.
I just had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen this old PBS? Ever seen Liberty's Kids?
Oh, I've seen Liberty's Kids. Yeah.
I would see that in live action. I feel like that could be good.
Yeah. I mean, the concept is very simple. Just
right. You don't really need
were
to
they
do anything.
Time travelers, or do they just live?
No, they just live in like 1770 or whatever, and they just kind of like Ben Franklin's like their neighbor or something, so they just know about everything. So yeah, I think that would be. Again, I know that's completely random, and that's probably not going to happen. But like again, that could be like a Netflix show or something.
The theme song for Liberty's Kids is a banger.
Yep.
I remember not a second from the actual show, but that theme song
that you will never forget. Whenever that song came on, you were like, oh, like yes, the theme song was legit. Oh, that is the only Aaron Carter song I know, but which is probably not a good thing, but yes, that theme song was my childhood. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I don't know. See, there's an idea that I'd be like, okay, yeah, you could easily make that into live action. It's a good history lesson. There's elements you could use. Like, it would be really cool. And again, like, I think that would fit well because, again, this is an era where, like, everyone's watching The Crown and Bridgerton and all these shows. It's like, I think this would fit right in, kind of. But it's different because we're colonists instead of, English royalties. So it's different. We're, like, rebelling against people. So it's like, boom, that would be perfect. But
yeah, I think, although I have a feeling if they did remake a show like that, they probably wouldn't keep the like educational elements of it. They would probably make it more mature. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a, like, oh, in 1775. Like, yeah, no, they're not gonna. Yeah, I would think they would definitely, like, they probably have to change the name. Well, no, you don't have to change the name.
Not necessarily.
No, you can keep the name. It's just, definitely more like an adult. Like, it could be like the kids could be like the same age. Because again, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't really, like, because kids, they just make it like TV 14 or something to make it a little more, add some violence here, a little like, grown up with swear word here or there. So like, I think that'd be fine. Yeah. And then you could do the whole, if you want to do the whole, like, race thing with like, oh, they still have slaves, like that could be a plot point or something because you want to be like affirmative action, but like, it's 1770, so like no, but like so like that could be a thing. So yeah, there you go. There's a good idea just out of nowhere, but they don't pay me for that. I don't make shows for a living, but Netflix should hire me anyway. That'd be so wild.
They need ideas.
That's what I'm saying. That would be a good idea. It'd be easy. All you have to do is just cast like any random, like, good looking, like 2 good looking white people. Somebody to play Ben Franklin. Who would be a good Ben Franklin off the top of your head? Who can you think of would be a great person to play?
For some reason, Robert Downey Jr. came to mind.
Robert Downey Jr.? Yeah. I could see it, but then again, he'd be so distracting as Robert Downey Jr. I don't know if I could believe it's Ben Franklin.
Not if he had a bald cap and the glasses. I don't know.
That'd be amazing. A bald cap Robert Downey Jr. would be hilarious. I don't know why I was like, obviously you can't, but I was thinking Robin Williams at first, and I was like, that'd be interesting. But I don't know if I could take it seriously.
Yeah,
but I can see it. Like Ben Franklin, again, I feel like has that very central. Who else? A good Ben Franklin. I don't know. We'll think about this, but that's a good one. You could have like Chris Evans play George Washington just because.
Sure, why not?
Just because why not? America. That's how he had it. He's like, but no. See, there's a good idea. So that's random, but there you go.
Yeah, CW, Powerpuff Girls. You still have time to scrap the idea.
Yeah, please do. Take this as a sign. This is not the move.
Yep.
Get out while you can. come back to the drawing board, watch our podcast, listen to us roast you, think about our ideas, or try something else. Like, don't do it, please, don't. But if it does come out, we have to watch the first episode.
We have to watch the first episode. We do.
As a rule, we have to watch the first episode, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I just want to, because I really want to. Like, I don't want it to come out, but if it does, I have to see it.
No, yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
Okay.
Because we have been wrong before.
We have
said that Aquaman wouldn't do well. It was
Harley Quinn show I thought was a bad idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we could be wrong, but we could also be right.
Yeah, it's looking more like we're gonna be right. But yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes exactly what we think is gonna happens, and then there it is. So it's like, the Snyder cut could have been great. Or not.
I didn't love it, but we also said that wasn't going to exist in the first place. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. So again, that's like anything's possible. Like
I'll take half credit for that because I didn't like it, but it exists.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it wasn't real. I think they just made it out. Honestly, it was not he didn't have this somewhere. This was definitely made after, especially the stuff where it's let's take that out. The stuff that was still in it that people didn't like, but then other stuff that those people, I'm like, you definitely adjusted that after the fact. But
it was not the same movie it would have been back in 2017.
No, not at all. First of all, it would not have been as long.
It would not have been 4 hours, yeah.
Which is 4 hours, man. People got to do stuff with their day. 4 hours is a lot.
Yep.
But
well,
yeah. Oh well, we'll see. Now I hope it comes out.
Do you have any topics or anything else you want to discuss before we sign off?
That's all I got.
Okay. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.